Fight Mike here. Today we're going to be going through the newest UFC fight announcements that they've released over the last few days. All of these matchups are coming up in the following months. I'll jump in with the first matchup, which is probably the biggest one. We've got Nassourdine Imavov versus Caio Borralio. This will be a really fun fight. Kaio definitely needs a fight. He hasn't fought since his fight against... Who was it? It was Jared Cannonier, and I believe that was in the mid to late part of last year. So it's been a good almost 12 months, maybe like 8 months since he's fought. And Imavov, he fought in February against Israel Adesanya, got him out there by TKO in the second round. But I thought it would be weird if he was the backup opponent for UFC 319 and not fighting at all for the rest of 2025. But it's good to see that he's getting back in there against a top-level opponent as well. I had a feeling that this was going to be made for the UFC France card, especially if it was kept as a fight night. I thought that this would be a good 5-round main event, and I didn't think that they would main event BSD versus Gamrot. But I think that this fight will probably be turned into a co-main event of a pay-per-view, just because we've just had John Jones stripped, and I bet that they'll put Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane on that France card with this as the co-main event. But this is a really close fight. I'm really happy that they got this one made. I was hoping this would be on 317, but you know, we get what we get. But I'm leaning towards Nassadin Imavov in this one. I think his striking is a lot cleaner than Baralio's, and I think he'll be able to keep it off the floor. I think Baralio's got the head in the grappling, but I think that he'll struggle to get Imavov there. We've seen historically good takedown defense from Imavov, and the one thing in this matchup I think doesn't bode well for him is that Imavov gets really tired if you wrestle with him a lot. And I think in the first few rounds, Baralio is going to try and wrestle with him, make him a little bit more tired, wear on him, and then the later rounds try to take it away. And I think Kaio's probably got the better cardio out the two. As we saw in his fight against Jared Cannonier, he literally flatline KO'd him in the last round. So he still carries his power late. He's still a very energizer bunny within those last 2 rounds. So I think this will be a really close fight. Whoever wins, it's basically whoever wins the third round. I think Imavov is going to win the first 2 and Baralio win the last 2. Just that third round, whoever wins is probably going to take the fight. So I think this is also going to the decision. I think it's very unlikely for either guy to get finished. I don't see Imavov getting submitted. And Baralio's got a good chin, so I don't think he's going to get finished by Imavov on the feet. So, and timing-wise as well, this is the perfect fight to make, just because it's in early September, and it's literally just a month after the August pay-per-view headlined by DDP and Hamzat. So the winner of that will be ready whenever these guys are ready to fight as well. So this will be a really fun fight. Moving on to the next one, we've got Gene Matsumoto versus Miles Johns. This is on the Apex card headlined by Dolidze versus Hernandez. That card's actually shaping up very nicely. They've got the Steve Erceg fight on there versus, I want to say, Alex Perez. So that's a really good card. This is actually an Apex card I'm really excited for. And it's a good spot to see where Gene Matsumoto's at. We saw him face Rob Font last time out. He made it extremely close on short notice. I believe it was only 2 weeks' notice. And I think just seeing that fight, I think he's going to smoke Miles Johns in this one. It'll be interesting to see him fight someone who's got really good KO power, as we know Rob Font's not got the most power. And it'll be interesting to see what adjustments he makes in this fight to negate the power of Miles Johns. I also think that this fight is just going to be 3 rounds of Gene Matsumoto being able to out-wrestle and out-grind Miles Johns. Just because we've seen in a few fights, Miles Johns looks a little bit lost once you start wrestling with him, once you start taking him down, wearing on him. So I think that Gene Matsumoto will be able to execute a good game plan doing that in this fight. Yeah, this is really a good fight, though, to have on that Apex card, because if we're to have Apex cards, I want them to be every 3-4 months, and I want them to be the quality that this Apex card headlined by Dolidze and Hernandez is, where we've got 5 or 6 really good matchups in there that we're all going to be excited for. Moving on to the next matchup, we have got Kennedy and Zetuku versus Valter Walker. This is going to be on the UFC Nashville card in a couple of weeks. I love this fight. I think this is going to be fun. I would have preferred them to both get ranked fighters at heavyweight. I think that they should have both got a Mick Parkin for Valter Walker, or a Shamil Gaziev, or even a Tai Tuivasa for any of them, just so we could get all these kind of trash old heads out of there that we know aren't going to be at the top of the division. I would rather see these two jacked like fit-looking heavyweights against these fatties that are in the 10 to 15 range. So I still like this fight, though. It's going to be like whoever wins this fight, I think is going to be a future top 5 opponent. Maybe both of these guys will end up being. But I think it's good. I would have preferred we get one of these McParkin versus Valter Walker fights, so just so we can get some movement in this division. But I think it'll be good to see where both of these guys are at with their like dominant skill set. As we know, Valter Walker is a very good grappler, and Kennedy and Zetuku is a very good striker. So it would be nice to see the war of attrition, whoever can beat each other at their game. So whether the Valter Walker will be able to get past the range and get past the takedown defense of Kennedy and Zetuku. And it'll be nice to see if Valter Walker's a glass cannon like his brother, and whether Kennedy and Zetuku will be able to put him to sleep. So I'm really excited for this fight. I think this will be really fun, and I'm looking forward to it. So moving on to the next fight. This is the last one I'll be breaking down. We have got Jared Gordon versus Rafa Garcia. This will be on the Texas card, the Noche card. I expect this will be on like the early prelims of that card. And I'm definitely taking Jared Gordon for this fight. I'm really happy that he's getting a matchup that he'll probably win. I would prefer him to get like a closer to the rankings fight, but you know, we can't really expect too much when he got robbed by Nasrat and Paddy Pimblett. So he's been shafted a bit further down in the unranked part of the lightweight division. But in this fight, 100%, I think Jared Gordon's going to win. I think it'll be by decision, but I don't know if Rafa Garcia is going to be able to get the patent robbery decision that everyone seems to get on Jared Gordon. And Rafa Garcia seems to have some skill in those robbery decisions. He was able to get a 40-plus-year-old Vince Pichel by a robbery decision last time out. And Jared Gordon literally only loses by robbery decision. So it's going to be interesting to see this fight. And I think that, to be fair, if you're going to take 40-plus-year-old Vince Pichel to a robbery decision, you're not going to beat Jared Gordon. I think Jared's going to be the cleanest striker. We low-key saw in that fight against Vince Pichel that Vince was kind of speed-bogging him and actually like catching him on the counter quite a bit. So it's going to be, I think Jared Gordon's going to be much faster, much quicker, much more reactive than Vince Pichel, and he's probably going to be able to outwork Rafa Garcia in those positions that Vince Pichel gave up. So this will be overall a fun fight. I don't think that this is going to be like a barn burner, but I reckon we're all going to enjoy it. Let me know what you think of these matchups below. Did I miss any other matchups that the UFC have made? I spent a while looking for them this morning, but haven't really seen anything. But as always, like and subscribe, leave a comment on the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.